I want to mention that World Harmony Chorus started in 1999, so I just conferred with Daniel. I was all excited to say it's the 20th anniversary, but he said no, it's the 21st, so we'll still celebrate that. The World Harmony Chorus is a unique community asset. It welcomes all ages, all abilities. There are no auditions. There are truly no requirements. The only magic here is Daniel Steinberg. And the repertoire is unique as well. The chorus features music of a wide range of ethnic and folk traditions, sung mostly in their original languages, and arranged by Daniel. This year we had approximately 78 people join our chorus. And they're from all over the Bay Area. They represent a wide range of ages, and we were just thrilled to have them tonight. Let me mention in closing, if you enjoy the concert, and I hope you come to many concerts in our series, please consider supporting it with a donation in our donation box. And our wonderful hall manager asked me to please beg you to complete the survey, because truly your comments help us determine future programming. So without further ado, please help me welcome the World Harmony Chorus.
welcome. That was a song from Haiti called Get Any Bo, as you could probably tell. Get Any Bo is a voodoo spirit, or orisha, the spirit of death and rebirth, and the spirit of a playful spirit who likes to put people who he feels are getting too proud in their place. So he's a good reminder when we think we're doing great. How many of you are friends and family of the chorus members? Would you wave to your... Now don't distract them when they're singing. I'm so glad you all came. Our program is a program of songs from the Americas, and we've never done quite so many songs in English in 1 year before. And the next song will be in English. The next song is called Hop High, and it's a traditional Appalachian song that comes from both black and white fiddle and banjo traditions. There's a banjo tune called Roustabout that is an instrumental version of this song, and then the song has many forms. It had many different kinds of lyrics in the different traditions, and we sort of picked and chose from ones that I've researched and found. So please enjoy Hop High. Our next song comes from Venezuela. It was composed as part of a light opera that debuted in the early 1910s, and the opera was called... I can use this, can't I? The opera was called A Mayanera, the Soul of the Plains, and the title songs, as it were, Mañanera, became very, very popular in Venezuela. Are there any Venezuelans here? If there were, they would tell you that they know this song. In fact, pretty much all Venezuelans know this song, and it's considered the second national anthem in Venezuela. It's still a very popular song. It's been recorded hundreds of times. And the words are some beautiful poetry that you can't read in your program because it's so dark. But I will tell you, or I will, even better, I will semi-read it because that way I won't make any mistakes. I was born on the banks of the Arauco Rapids, the river rapids of the Arauco River. I'm sister to the flowers, to the moon, to the foam, the sea foam, the egrets, and to the sun. The second verse is just this poetry about the bugle of the breeze surrounding me, serenading me in the palm grove. And therefore I have a soul like the exquisite soul of crystal. And the chorus part says, I love, I cry, I sing, I dream about carnations of passion that adorn the blonde mane of my beloved's colt. Al Mañanera. The World Harmony Chorus is an amateur chorus. We sing a lot of really interesting and challenging things, but we are amateurs. How many people in the chorus, before joining the chorus, never really sang hardly or didn't think they could sing? There's a lot of people in the world, I discovered when I started doing this 25 years ago, that were told when they were children, singing in schools, to just move their lips and not make a sound. How many of you heard that when you were young? So one of the reasons that I started the chorus was for you. Because I started finding that people who had been told that all their lives spent their whole lives thinking they couldn't sing. And then they found that they could if they just tried and they just worked on it a little bit. And being able to make music and be a part of music is such a wonderful thing. It's so much fun. And it really does great things in the world. So I want to encourage you to consider coming in the fall to sing with us and find your voice. I seem to be losing mine, but don't worry about that. Our next song is from Brazil. This program can't be right. Looks like the page is wrong. No. This is very strange. Okay, yes, that's right. I did have a page backwards. Okay. The next song is from Brazil, and it's from the singing of Caetano Veloso, who's a very famous Brazilian songwriter and singer and performer. In fact, I saw him just like a month or two ago performing with his sons. It was a fantastic concert. And he, in the 70s, was part of a movement in Brazil called Tropicalia, which was a transformation of the vocal music and the songwriting and singing of Brazilian music. And there were a lot of people in that movement who continued on and continue to be very popular singers in Brazil. But one of them, Torquato Neto, was depressed and committed suicide. And he was a good friend of Caetano's, who was very broken up by this. And a few years after that, Caetano went to his hometown in Teresina, which is in northeastern Brazil, and visited with his father, and just wanted to go and just be where he had come from and just kind of remember him and hang with his father. And his father, when he came, gave him a red rose, and he sat with him, and they talked quietly, and they drank a local drink called cajuína. Now, cajuína is made from the fruit of the cashew tree. Now, I don't know how many of you know this, but the cashew nut that we see is this little thing that's at the bottom of this great big fruit. And you never see the fruit here because it spoils like about 3 seconds before you pick it. So you can't be shipped, it can't be packed. So it's only juiced in the regions where it's grown, and they make this drink called cajuína out of it. And sometimes they ferment it and make what's called cajuína out of it. So when they say cajuína, you don't really know which it is. And we don't know in the song, but we can only draw our own conclusions. But the song itself has some beautiful poetry. It doesn't translate to English very well because it's just imagery. And it says, we exist, but what is our destiny? Because when you gave me the little rose, I saw you as a beautiful man, and yet the fate of this unfortunate boy does not teach us anything. And it says the tear of the Northeasterners, because Brazil, Teresina's in the northeast of Brazil, the tear in the Northeasterner's face is blurred. Only the living body was so fine. And we were looking at each other with open eyes with the crystal cajuína in Teresina. So he wrote this song, and it became super popular in Brazil, and a lot of people recorded it. And there are many choruses that sang in different versions of it. And I heard a couple of different renditions of it and kind of did an adaptation of the ideas that one of them had. The recording was partial, so I sort of took their idea and then just ran with it and made a kind of a Baroque interlocking arrangement out of this. So please enjoy Cajuína.
Assim, pro menino infeliz na
come back to the United States and sing a spiritual, again, a very traditional spiritual from the gospel traditions. The version that we got comes from a great West Virginia singer named Ginny Hawker. But there are many, many versions of this, and it's sung in churches, in black and white churches, many, many different kinds of versions of it. But our particular song harkens back to Ginny's version of it. It's called Time is Winding Up. Our next song comes from Puerto Rico, and it's a very popular little ditty called Capullito de Alelí. And it's such a cute song. The words are to say, "My pretty little bud of a wallflower, if only you knew my pain, you would respond to my love and calm my suffering, because you know without you life is nothing for me. There isn't in the world for me another little wallflower bud, the Capullito de Alelí, that I offer my passion and give my heart to. You alone are the woman to whom I have given everything. I offer you faithfulness until death. For that reason, I sing to you, my little wallflower bud, give me your seductive aroma. and just a little of your love, because you know that without you, life is nothing for me. Isn't that sweet? Kind of overdoes it in the Latin American way, but it was. I want to get the details right. I always say these things, and then I say, "Wait a minute, that wasn't right." It was composed in, I think, the 20s or 30s by Rafael Hernandez, a famous composer and singer, and our arrangement was mostly comes from Ruben Colom Tarat, and then I dithered with it a little bit, as I often want to do. Anyway, Capullito de Aleli. Thank you. We have a couple more songs for you. And then I'll teach you a song, so you all get the experience of what it's like to sing in the chorus, so you can find out just how easy it is. And then we'll have refreshments out in the lobby, and I hope you'll join us and join your friends out there. The next song is called Turtle Dove, and it's from the Georgia Sea Islands. Georgia Sea Islands, anybody know where that is? Can you guess that it has something to do with the state of Georgia? So, there's the eastern seaboard. New York, Maryland, so North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, right? There's Georgia. Right off the coast there, the coastline sort of becomes fuzzy, and there's islands that are kind of, the amount of water between the island and the mainland changes with the tides and whatnot. But there's islands out there. And it used to be one of many cotton growing areas. And what happened was when the cotton gin was invented, the kind of cotton that it could harvest properly was not the kind that was grown in the very wet areas. So the cotton that was grown on the Georgia Sea Islands wasn't needed anymore because they just grew another kind of cotton. So those cotton plantations kind of stopped being plantations. And what happened was freed slaves, and then after the Civil War, more freed slaves, all the freed slaves, started moving out there and settling there, and they formed a community there called the Gullah community. And they had their own music traditions. Their language is English, but different. It's kind of a dialect. And they had a very strong musical tradition. And in the 30s or 40s, when Bessie Jones moved there as an adult, she was a great singer, and she joined the Sea Island Singers, and she kind of became the leader of the Sea Island Singers. And they were discovered by Alan Lomax, who recorded a bunch of stuff by them. And he was, in fact, Alan Lomax is responsible for several of the songs, for our learning several of the songs in our repertoire, because he collected a lot of this music. And then other people learned it that way. In any case, Bessie has a recording with Alan singing this song, and she learned it, not on the Georgia Sea Islands, but she learned it from her grandfather, Jet Sampson, who lived to 105. He was born a slave in the 1840s, and he taught her this song. It was sung at weddings. And the words are all kind of biblical. The turtle dove is the turtle dove, the bird that Noah sent out to find dry land. And then all the words are sort of adaptations of biblical kinds of ideas. And then at the end of the chorus, they go, sa-sa-la, do, on sa-la, sari, and that's a kind of way of singing what we call the solfege scale, like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, right? So sa-sa-la, do is sa-sa-la, do, that's do, re, mi kind of stuff. And Bessie believed that when you sing in solfege, you're speaking directly to God. So it was kind of an important part of these songs, is that they were both fun to sing and beautifully harmonized, but also they were spiritual and that they meant something. So we're going to sing their version of Turtle Dove.
Turtle dove done drooped his wing, undrooped his wing. Turtle dove done drooped his wing, drooped his wing. Turtle dove done drooped his wing. Went on Zion hill to sing. Adam and Eve, do-do. Adam and Eve, don't you tell it to me. Just meet me at the door, don't tell it to me. Sa-sa-la-do on sa-la-sa-ree. My name is written on David's line, on David's line. My name is written on David's line, David's line. My name is written on David's line. I'm going to heaven on the wheel of time. Adam and Eve, do-do. Adam and Eve, don't you tell it to me. Just meet me at the door, I know